I got no time to parlay, unless it's big checks or parlays. I've been rich, it's not far away. Light the spliff and I stargaze. Consultation with the constellations. They said the world was in a dark phase. It got me desperado for protection. Carry big strap in a guitar case.
I have hiccups. I can't control it, so if I hiccup a lot, I apologize in advance. But let's just hop in. Waste no time. We're going to talk about episode 4 and 5, which I just watched today. I watched episode 4 in Korean, which I love. The Korean dub is definitely the way to go. I like it way more than Japanese, so I'm going to start watching the Korean for sure. It just felt a lot more authentic to me, and I thought the voices matched a lot better, so that may have elevated my experience of level 4, because then going back to Japanese, I felt a little bit of a auditory disconnect. I don't know. I like episode 4 actually. I thought 4 was good. I thought 5. Let's start with 4. So basically, with episode 4, I had no issues pretty much. I thought it was solid through and through. I still think the action scenes are lacking something. It feels like when they're hitting, it's not matching the level of force they're putting through. There's like a lack of impact. So when Hats was doing his low flying sword, high flying sword stuff, I don't know why he's not saying that. He says it in the webtoon. Excuse me. But I don't know, it still seems a little lackluster. It's not animated. It doesn't move as great as I would like it to. But I thought that any beat that they needed to hit with that episode, that was super important. They did it well. Hatsu fighting, Anak's irritation, and then her kind of going crazy. The Laure reveal of him thinking he had enough information that he could, win the crown game and take a Anak off the throne and defend the throne with his Shinsu. Yeah, I'm not really with the Shinsu looking like literal water still, but it is what it is. I guess it's a visual choice they're making. They're still calling the Black March and whatnot swords and their needles, and there's actually an important distinction between those two things. I don't think that they should be making that translation kind of half-assed. The moment where Laure is kind of disappointed in Anak, I don't know why he didn't just say what he said in the webtoon, which is something along the lines of like she didn't meet my expectations. I was hoping she could make me remind me of the time where I met Yuri or something like that. Then this time she's like he said something amongst the line of like, oh, her emotions got the better of her or whatever. But all in all, I thought the Crown Game episode was really good. The action was like, I think the action is probably the part I thought could be a little better. When Anak was using the Green April and ignited it, that was a bit better. Watching Laure kind of dodge around, and then all the moments I cared about were there, like when they're running away and she's like, he's like, you can't win without risking your life, and she's just kind of running away, pulling it. Shibisu's like little moments with Hats and Anak, and like obviously he's the weak one, but he's the smart one. And even like his little interaction with that girl that he calls Hag, and she calls him like tracksuit or whatever. Like all the things that I really expected to see, I saw. There was changes a little bit here and there. They omitted some stuff, but it's not really a big deal because they have to keep some continuity from the other episodes, because some of the characters that like were supposed to be there's not there. The sniper's not there. He's supposed to be there, but I don't think those stuff are significant. Some of the characters didn't say certain lines, but these guys are completely, utterly not important, so I don't care about that. But yeah, I thought it was good. I mean, I'm an Anak fan, so watching her show out, do her thing, it's great for me. I thought they captured her perfectly. The irritation, her walking past and Dorsey and getting called an imposter, and she's about to react, and Haas is like, yo, I swear to God, if you do some more bullshit to fuck with the team, I'm out. Like, stop it. Just cut it out. So they hit all the close to the head. The Black March reacting to the Green April, you can't really argue that, and then obviously making the deal. I know Anak actually asks him like, can we make a side bet instead of like whatever happens. But anywho, Laure comes, stops her, and then we continue the ground game. So let's kind of transition into the later part. So we got Khun flexing, showing how smart he is. Don't underestimate him and whatnot. That stuff was really good. They changed a lot of stuff, like the way he was flexing or not. But you got the point where it was that he completely manipulated the rules of the game in the tower and was thinking ahead from the first floor. You got the fact that he's extremely he could showboat to make a point. It wasn't like, oh yeah, I'm such a cocky asshole. He did that to make a point. It's like if you shoot a 3-pointer and you turn around and it goes in. That's a statement. That's why he like in the confidence and the cockiness, there's intelligence in there because he's doing it for a reason to show these guys we ain't scrubs. Don't disrespect us. So that was great. So like with episode 5, when all the fighting was happening and all the teams came out, and I think Khun showed off the bit stuff with the copying bag and everything. I can't remember what the bag was called, but if I remember correctly, I'm about to fact check this after in post when I'm editing. But the name of his bag is a spell or something from Anamasu Manara, the webtoon, like Do You Believe in Magic? But I might be remembering that incorrectly, but I'll check. So episode 5, I have issues with a lot of stuff. And no, maybe not a lot, but a couple of things. First of all, the change that they made with Bam. Like, we know something happened and he did something and Hwaryun was injured. We don't know exactly what it was, but we know he used Shinsu in a way that violates the tower, which is just the fact that he used it without really making a contract. Some people thought that perhaps he used reverse flow control. Whatever you think, it doesn't matter. But he said he turned into Shinsu or some garbage like that. Like, I don't know what the fuck they was doing with that. That was unnecessary. And then Bam going for like the kill. Like and the Black March like, oh no, you lost control, like that's not good. Kiss him on the cheek and he's unconscious. That was fucking stupid. There was, I can't think of any reason for that because Bam is very, very much a pacifist in every sense of the word throughout the whole first season. He's not trying to pick fights. That's not in his character. So him, even though protecting Rachel was enough. That was the point at the moment. I dive in, I'm protecting somebody that I care about, and then, obviously because I'm special, I did something while saving her, which caused us to be okay. Him getting up with the rage in his eyes, completely, the big picture takeaway is completely ruined. You're not understanding Bam's character by doing that. And the Black March is not some plot device that comes and saves him and does shit like that. That's not a thing that it really does, right? So it was such a strange, it's so jarring. I couldn't believe they did that. So I did not in the slightest like that at all. But then because they did that, it kind of transitions into the aftermath when Laure was talking with Han Sung-yu. And now this conversation is like, it's similar, but it's different. The Urek Mizuno name drop is big. I'm not entirely sure why they showed the tattoo and everything, but I don't mind. That's fine. The thing about it is, they should have kind of mentioned Wall Hike Sung with the wing stuff when Yuri and Evan were in the inner tower trying to figure out how to get. By the way, they didn't show two members. I'll show them on screen, but they didn't show two members. But like he kind of mentions that, and then like the Urek stuff gets mentioned, and then later on those two things connect. So it felt weird to omit that, but just kind of have the Urek moment. But when Laure asked the question what Bam did, and he's like, "Oh, only in a regular like Urek Mazina could do that," I was like, "Bro." He didn't like actually turn into Shinsu or whatever, but like I the conversation and the disconnect that they're having where it's like Quant is the idiot ranker, Lauro's the smart one, and Han Sung-yu could control Quant but can't control Laure. Like they kept that together, so I do appreciate that. But I think with that one change, I feel like they could be going down a completely different route that I don't think they're ready for or understand. So I truly didn't understand those changes. It was strange to me, at the very least. And then with the last part of the conversation, the reason why no team wins is because when Bam's unconscious and whatever, the new teams that came willingly decides not to take the crown. The crown was not destroyed by Bam's turning into Shinsu because Laure, I think Laure makes a comment himself. One of them said it. Either Laure or Han Sung-yu, but I'm pretty sure it was Laure. He basically says what he did violates the rules of the tower, this, that, and the other, but the actual power output of what he did wasn't crazy. All it ended up doing was kind of cracking the mask, and well, it damaged Hwaryun's eye to the point where she has eye patch the rest of the thing. We don't even know if she could see out of it because we know she likes wearing the eye patch. But anywho. I did like episode 4 ultimately. I think episode 4 was paced well. All the moments that you needed to see, you see it. Even with some things that are omitted and changing, I don't think you lose the overall takeaway. So I thought episode 4 was solid. I'm gonna go with like an 8 out of 10 for 4. That was my favorite one of the season thus far. And then 5, it's not even that 5 was bad or anything. It's just those jarring changes. and whatnot, they kind of you lose some of the original intent that was in the webtoon. Maybe the anime is gonna go down a different route and try to give you guys a completely different experience. So I don't know. Maybe that's the intention. I feel like I've been rambling. I know I'm forgetting a bunch of stuff I want to say about the episode, but the Laure moment was great. I thought they handled it perfectly. I loved it. That's my guy, I call him Young Sleep. If you don't know that, shout out to the Phonsekal family. We nap here. Seeing Ho talk a little bit, seeing Ho speak, actually makes it really much easier to know he's a guy, because I remember in the webtoon I wasn't sure until someone called him a him. I totally thought that was just some flat-chested girl being thing. But let me know what you guys thought about these 2 episodes. I think next week what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have a discussion speaking about episode 1 to, I think it would be 6 next week. So we'll do that instead of me kind of just talking by myself, and to see where everyone is and how we're feeling about it in the grand scheme. But I've been peeping a couple of like tweets and comments and a couple of videos from the anime onlys. They have no fucking idea what's going on. It's actually kind of funny. I watch a video and they're trying to theorize, could it mean this, yada yada, and they're making a really low hanging fruit comparison, like wonder, things of that nature. But it's just funny to me because I'm like, you guys really have no idea what's going on, but live your life. This is how it's funny. Anywho, I'm gonna be out. Yep.
Tears all falling, my heart is froze. Can't talk to me, but I can't let go. Lonely